What is going on, YouTube? So coming back today, I actually just finished my NFL mock draft 3.0 and wanted to do my small forward portion of the NBA draft big board. So yesterday I did shooting guards, and one thing I wanted to mention before I do this, a couple guys who could have been considered either shooting guard or small forward. Jaylen Brown and Denzel Valentine I had at shooting guard, and then also a guy who could be considered a small forward, Ben Simmons, I will have listed at power forward. So go ahead and start with my number 10, and I have the 6'8" Florida product, and that is Dorian FinneySmith. So DFS, big name in the SEC. Been pretty good in college, but I think he's probably going to end up being an undrafted free agent in the NBA. Might get a chance in the D League, not really sure. He could be picked up. Really depends on how Florida finishes out the year. He was a 4-year player at Florida, and I think that even at 6'8", with almost a 7-foot wingspan, it's just hard for him to find a spot in the NBA. He's good driving, not an extremely great jump shooter. Physical down low. I think some of the comparisons that some people have made with him are Chris Walker, the former Florida power forward and center, and didn't really pan out in the NBA too well. So at number 9, I have the 6'7" Clemson product, and that is Jayson Blossomgame. So not by any means the biggest name in this class. To me, a guy that could be good in the NBA. I don't know. I really won't lie. I haven't watched too much film on him. I know he was a 3-year player at Clemson. He is currently a junior. I am projected as an unrestricted free agent, or an undrafted free agent, and I think that the only reason he's really on this list is just it's a really, really thin small forward class. So at number 8, I've got the 6'9" Georgetown product, and that is Isaac Copeland. So Copeland, heading into his sophomore year, a guy that measures up at about the same wingspan as his height. I think he's got a higher ceiling in the NBA than the players before him on this list, and some of the other players around him. Could be worth a late second-round pick. I am projected as a late second-round pick to undrafted free agent. So at number 7, I have the 6'8" UNC small forward, and that is Justin Jackson. So Justin Jackson, a guy that at the beginning of the year was considered to be maybe even a first-round pick. It's been a brutal year for him. He's supposed to be actually a very offensively gifted player. He's an athletic guy. He's got good size, and I just think that he's got to find the right situation in the NBA. I don't know how high his ceiling is in the NBA. Like I said, I believe this is it's either his second or third year, his second year at UNC. Might have redshirted a year, but this is a guy that's just not, I don't think he's very quick. Defense isn't really up to par either. He's not very good in transition. Now, I think the dude has a good work ethic. I think he's got good, like I said, I think he's got a high ceiling. This is a guy that, like I said, was at one point considered to be maybe even a first-round pick. So the potential's there. He's just got to get a little bit more consistency and be able to show that some of that potential can actually follow through. So at number 6, I've got the 6'6" Oregon product, Dylan Brooks. So Brooks could fit in at either the 2 or the 3 in the NBA. He's a guy that has actually, I think, a shorter wingspan than his height. It's kind of weird there, about a 6'5" wingspan, and to me, a guy that's a decent mid-range shooter, brings a couple of tools to the table that could be valuable in a rotation. I have him projected as a mid to late second-round pick. So at number 5, I've got the 6'7" Syracuse product, and that is Michael Gbinije. Gbinije just had a nasty throwdown a couple days ago. It might have been against Duke. Can't remember exactly who it was, but the guy that's very athletic, can work the paint when he's obviously going against people who are shorter than him. He's a good rebounder, but I don't know how well that will be translate into the NBA. He is a very NBA-ready player, though. He's got a high basketball IQ. He's a decent facilitator for his position, and I think that some of the skill sets that he has right now will lead to a long career, maybe as a bench player in the NBA. Like I said, I'm projected as maybe around a mid-second round pick. So at number 4, I've got the 6'7" Texas A&M product, and that is Daniel House. So Texas A&M actually started off the year red hot. I'm assuming a lot of people saw that. This is a 4-year. This is a 4-year player at Texas A&M, and I just again, another guy that I haven't watched too much tape on. I know that this is a guy that came in as a 4-star recruit to Texas A&M. He's got a high ceiling. I think his game is extremely well-rounded, and I think this is a guy that's a pretty NBA-ready player. The thing I do know about Daniel House, he's a little bit more physical. He is athletic, and I think that he does have a pretty much set ceiling that he's pretty much already reached. So it's a guy you know what you're getting when you draft him. I have him projected as an early to mid-second round pick. So at number 3, I've got the 6'7" Baylor product, and that is Taurean Prince. So it's been an up and down year for Baylor as a team. Taurean Prince, just another one of the athletes that Baylor has. He's very quick, I think NBA-ready player, and I think he's a little bit better on defense than he is on offense. He's a good matchup for a lot of players at the 3. He's like I said, he's quick. Got a pretty good basketball IQ. Size maybe not quite up to par. I think his wingspan is around a 6'8" wingspan. I'd take a look. Yeah, about a 6'7", 6'8" wingspan. So the size isn't the most sought after, but again, not small either for a small forward. So I am projected as a early second round pick. So at number 2, I've got the 6'7" product out of France, and that is Timothy Luwawu. So Luwawu's incredibly athletic. I think he's got a high ceiling in the NBA. Obviously, kind of a risky pick to take. I think he'll actually go in the late first round. I've had him going anywhere from 23 to 28 in my mock drafts. He's quick. He's got good size. Not great on defense, but not bad either. I think he's got a high ceiling on offense. The jump shot's got to be developed a little bit more. I think that his entire frame needs to be developed a little bit more, maybe get above 200 pounds. Currently, he's about at 190 or 195. So, at number 1, it's pretty obvious at this point, I've got the 6'9" product out of Duke, and that is Brandon Ingram. So, Ingram has been compared a lot to a poor man's Kevin Durant, and he was one of the highest rated recruits coming into this year. He's got an extremely high ceiling in the NBA. He's got a 7'3" wingspan, so obviously the size is there. Very athletic. He's quick. He's physical. He can get to the basket, and I think a guy that has one of the better jump shots and just one of the more well-rounded games. I think he'll end up going in the top 3. It's pretty common. It's pretty common knowledge. I think at this point he's probably going to go at number 2. Maybe a couple other guys, Jaylen Brown, Buddy Hield, Chris Dunn, that might compete for that number 2 spot as well, and maybe Dragan Bender if some teams are willing to take that risk. But that concludes my small forward NBA draft big board. So we'll be coming back tomorrow with my power forward. It's a little bit deeper position, should be a little bit more common names on that list. But yeah, if you've not checked out the other 2 big boards yet, I will post a link to the entire playlist in the description below, and I will have the last 2 videos in the outro. So that's pretty much it. See ya. Point guard. So today I'm going to be doing my shooting guards, and I believe this shooting guard class is a little bit deeper than the point guard class, but go ahead and start with my number 10 shooting guard, and I've got the 6'5" Kansas product, and that is Wayne Selden. So Selden's been putting together